Welcome, we have collected 5 of the most interesting events that took place on the 21st of April in history. According to Roman mythology, April 21st, 753 BC. The twin brothers Romulus and Remus founded the city of Rome. History says that the brothers were the children of Rhea Silvia, daughter of the legitimate king of Alba Longa. Rhea Silvia's uncle, Amulius, overthrew her father and forced her to become a Vestal celibate. However, Mars, the god of war, appeared to her in a dream, and she became pregnant. Amulius threw them into the Tiber River, but they were saved by a she-wolf that nursed them. They were found by the shepherd Faustulus, who raised them as his own sons. Having grown up, Romulus and Remus decided to found a city in that place. They argued over who would rule the city, and Romulus eventually killed Remus. Then Romulus became the first king of Rome and named the city after himself. On April 21, 1519, the Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortes landed on the coast of Mexico with the aim of conquering the Aztec state. Cortes heard rumors about the wealth of the empire and decided to conquer it in the name of the Spanish Empire. Cortes and his men were initially welcomed by the Aztec Emperor Montezuma II, who believed that Cortes could be the god Quetzalcoatl. However, Cortes quickly took advantage of the situation and captured the capital. The conquest of the Aztec Empire marked the beginning of Spanish colonization of the Americas and changed the course of history for both the indigenous people of Mexico and European powers seeking to expand their empires. Today, the legacy of the Aztec Empire is celebrated in Mexico and around the world, and the story of Hernan Cortes and his conquest of the Aztecs remains a powerful reminder of the impact of European colonialism on the American continent. On April 21, 1908, the American explorer Frederick Cook made an unsuccessful attempt to reach the North Pole. Cook's expedition faced many challenges, including harsh weather conditions, difficult terrain, and equipment malfunctions. Cook and 2 companions set off on a final push to reach the North Pole. They traveled for several days, but eventually had to turn back due to lack of food and supplies. It was later discovered that Cook had falsified his claim of reaching the North Pole, and that he never even came close. Despite his dubious legacy, Cook's Arctic expeditions were important in advancing scientific knowledge of the region. His efforts helped pave the way for future explorers, and his stories of the harsh conditions and hardships of Arctic travel continue to fascinate people today. On April 21, 1944, during the Second World War, women in France received the right to vote in national elections for the first time. The law was passed by the Provisional Government of France headed by General Charles de Gaulle. The push for women's suffrage had been gaining momentum since the turn of the century, when feminist groups and suffragettes staged demonstrations and campaigns across France. However, only after the liberation of the country from the German occupation was this issue finally resolved. The first elections in which women could vote were held in 1945, and they played an important role in the post-war political situation in France. Today, the right to vote is taken for granted in many countries around the world, but it is important to remember the struggles and sacrifices made by those who fought for this fundamental right, particularly the women of France. On April 21, 1960, Brasilia officially became the new capital of Brazil, replacing Rio de Janeiro. The city was purpose-built in just 4 years under the leadership of Juscelin Kubitschek, who envisioned a modern, planned city that would serve as a symbol of Brazil's progress and potential. The project was led by the famous architect Oscar Niemeyer, who planned everything in such a way as to reflect the ideals of modernism and futurism. The design envisioned a central axis running through the city, with important government buildings and monuments located along this axis. Today, Brasilia is a unique and impressive example of modern urban planning and architecture. Innovative urban design and a focus on sustainability continue to influence urban planning and development around the world. Thanks for watching, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you want to send thanks to the authors and finance the development of the channel, there are also links to several possible options for this in the description. Goodbye.